Nuclear power plants can be a very powerful source of energy, but sometimes the cons can outweigh the pros. In order to understand exactly what makes a power plant nuclear, first we need to understand what nuclear power is. I'm Matt Goetz, and today we're going to go into the controversy, which is nuclear power plants.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Science rules.
Nuclear power plants can be found all around the world, but it all started with a Polish chemist. Her name? Madame Curie. She noticed that uranium salts fogged photographic plates without being exposed to sunlight, unknowingly creating the world's first X-ray. She called this radioactivity. Radioactivity is when the nucleus of an atom becomes unstable and emits harmful radiation or radioactive material. The causes of radioactive element is its unstable nucleus. The ratio between protons and neutrons is what also messes it up. Not only that, elements also become radioactive due to the number of protons and neutrons in the element. That is the reason why most elements with a low atomic number aren't radioactive. Uranium-238 and uranium-235 are isotopes that have a high proton and neutron ratios that cause them to be unstable and overall radioactive. Radioactive elements are a very controversial subject in our world today. One of the reasons being is because nuclear power plants. Nuclear power plants generate power by doing the process called nuclear fission. Nuclear fission is the process of splitting an atomic nucleus into two or more smaller atoms. When the atom splits, a large release of energy occurs, sending neutrons to surrounding atoms, creating a chain reaction of releasing energy. Nuclear power plants have a generator hooked up to the reactor that creates the process of nuclear fission and harnesses that energy. The harnessed energy in the power plants have the ability to power small cities. Nuclear fission is also very clean. Carbon dioxide is not a byproduct of nuclear power, unlike oil and coal, making it a superior power. One train car of nuclear fuel can keep a nuclear power plant running for a whole year. Imagine nuclear power plants kind of like the game dominoes. If you knock the first one down, then it'll hit the next one, then the next one, then the next one, and it creates a chain reaction, also known as the domino effect.
Okay, go for it.
Breaking news in the Ukraine. Nuclear power plant meltdowns are one of the scariest outcomes of using this resource. On April 26, 1986, one of the world's most famous nuclear meltdowns occurred. This was Chernobyl. The nuclear power plant had a sudden and unexpected power surge. When an emergency shutdown was ordered for the power plant, a larger spike of power occurred. This caused a reactor vessel to rupture. The explosion of the reactor valve led to the steam explosions, releasing radioactive particles into the atmosphere. The radioactive particles spread out all over the West USSR and Europe. Radiation poisoning killed 31 people and made the land uninhabitable for many years to come. Other long-term effects also include the formation of cancers, radiation poisoning, and deformities. The most recent nuclear meltdown happened in Japan only 2 years ago. This was the largest nuclear disaster since Chernobyl. Back to you, Matt.
The dangers that loom over nuclear power plants in this country are quite real, but many safety precautions have been put into place to stop any major issues. Rules and regulations were created after Chernobyl that prevented future meltdowns. Security stations and checkpoints before entering a nuclear power plant have been established to keep terrorists and other dangerous people away. The press and media also amplified any problems with nuclear reactors because of the controversial subject. In reality, the chance of a meltdown is relatively low. When people have to choose between being for or against nuclear power, the only question that matters is, are nuclear power plants safe enough to use as a source of energy as well as alternative energy? The answer is yes. Nuclear power is a reliable and powerful source for the planet, and we should start using it more. I'm Matt Goetz, signing off.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy.